What's up, everyone? It's Matt back for another Real Review. And today, as you can see right here, we're here to talk to you about this latest indie film, Grace Point. I actually had the honor of watching this the other night, and I was pleasantly surprised. I enjoyed it. It's a psychological thriller about a boy who has to exercise his own demons, whether that be drug use or the trauma in his past with his mother and father. And it was just a nice, quick, brisk, interesting journey. Uh, I will say I did not know what to expect going in. Um, it's one of those films where when it comes to indie film, you never know what you're going to get exactly. And I was like, all right, it's indie film. Let's give it a shot and just see where it goes. And I was just sucked in. The thing about the runtime is you don't even feel it's just, I should say you do feel it, but in a positive way, because it's just like, oh, you're like, this is nice, this is brisk. And as soon as you're like really enveloping yourself in it, it's like, oh, it's over. Okay, wow. We got there. Oh, I didn't see that coming. But I say that in a positive sense because you never want a film to overstay its welcome, and you want it to leave. You want it to leave you wanting more, and that was where I was with this film, because ultimately, it's so hard to talk about without getting into spoiler territory. And I think I will do a spoiler review for this. I might have a buddy or two rent this just so they can check it out, and then we can talk about it one-on-one. But it was just one of those things where performances were at the forefront for this. I do have to say I'm a big Brat Pat guy, so seeing Andrew McCarthy in anything was just awesome again. And it took me a minute to realize that was Andrew McCarthy. I'm like, that face, I've seen that face so many, and it's just aged, because he's not a lot of the stuff I watch nowadays. I do want to give a shout out to John Owen Lowe, Rob Lowe's son, another Brat Pack connection there. But the character who really I was really drawn in by was Cutter, played by Jim Patrick, who does a fantastic job of being a figure who isn't fatherly, but a mentor who can show you the error or thinking in certain ways. There are a lot of familiar faces for some UFC fans. If you're a fan of The Ringer, there's a familiar face in there for you also, the old Johnny Knoxville comedy. But I do want to give a shout out to John Owen Lowe, who plays the lead character, Brandon Hayes. I had never seen him in anything before this. I never watched 911 Lone Star. I never saw The Grinder, and I've never seen Holiday in the Wild. So to go ahead, I haven't seen Unstable either, but to go ahead and just be able to take on a lead role, especially in an indie film, it's never easy, because a lot of people feel that indie films don't get them enough exposure, but ultimately they go to them because it's real material. But he clearly took this seriously, and I had a lot of fun watching him along his journey as he's exercising these demons. That was really interesting. It was really cool. And the way that they are exercised by the end of it, you start to see it coming a little bit, but the film tricks you into thinking, oh, that's not how it's going to happen. And ultimately it does. And you're like, oh, I was right. Cool. And that's a good way to lull the audience into a false sense of security, because you're like, hey, it seems like it's going this way. And then other things start to happen. You're like, okay, maybe not. But very good. There's a very good rapport between John Owen Lowe and the rest of the cast. To be specific, he spends a lot of time with Jim Parrick, who I've seen in a lot of small roles, whether that be Supernatural. So like, he's a familiar face to me, more so a character actor in a lot of television series. But still, just nice, solid job. And it's also a story about a father's love and how far a father will go to take care of their kids. So if I'm giving this, and solid writing, the story is very, very solid, and that's why I bring up the point where it lulls you into this sense where it's like, okay, I think I know where this is going, but maybe I was wrong. And that's on the director, and he's a co-writer also, and that's Rory Karpf, who co-wrote this with Paul Russell Smith. It's a very fun, interesting, solid film, easy watch, what you want to see. And if I'm giving this a rating, I'm giving it a 4 out of 5 reels. Only thing I really had issues with, and I know this goes along with indie film, is some of the cinematography, some of the shots were kind of shaky where they could have been still, but otherwise it's a very fun, solid time just watching it home. Go watch it now. I'm pretty sure you can rent it on Apple TV Plus, and you can also rent it on Amazon Prime. I know that for a fact, and YouTube. It looks like, based off of what I'm seeing. So go rent it. It's like a $3 or $4 rental, but you'll enjoy yourself. It's one of those kind of films. But with that, folks, that is my review for Grace Point. I do want to say, be sure to check out everything else we're doing over here at Watt Entertainment. Follow us on Twitch, which is just twitch.tv/WattRealEnt, like it's spelled in the top corner there. Follow us on our sister channel, Watt Gaming, which is where all the Twitch streams and clips go to live. It's run by one of my business partners, Taylor Cleek. He does a fantastic job with that. Be sure to check out our Superman podcast going on currently, Views from Metropolis. This week is Daredevil week, so yesterday and today I dropped reviews for Daredevil Season 1 and Season 2, so go ahead and check those out, and check out the trailer reaction I did for Andor. So you can check out all that stuff. And with that, signing off, I am Matt. This was another Real Review, and we'll see you next time.